I think there is a fee that they would accept, but I think it's a ludicrous fee, and I think it's a fee that we would. I think it puts Liverpool into a world that I'm not sure we're 100% comfortable being in, and it's the world of Man United and how it's Man United. Let's look at Paul Pogba as an example. Paul Pogba was not worth the money that they paid for him, just 100% not worth that amount of money, but they absolutely wanted him and they needed it to make a statement. They needed to prove a point because that was the player they wanted, etc., etc., etc. So for me, Liverpool do two things. They either go, right, listen, fuck, we've had enough. We're kind of going nowhere with this. We'll go and get our second choice targets, and everyone goes, ha ha, Liverpool, you're fucking not the big power that you think you are. You haven't got the fucking financial clout. You don't have the courage of your convictions. Look at your second choice player. Ha ha, second choice player, you're a second choice player. Or the Liverpool go, you know what? Fuck it, we're backing ourselves. We've said we want this guy all along. We're going to do whatever it takes to get done. There's £100 million RB Leipzig, and they, you know, or whatever that amount is, unless it's like 200 million, which is fucking ridiculous. But I think, you know, you're going with 100, say, that's so far ahead of. No businessman on earth is turning down £100 million for a player like that, and we get it across the line. For you, is it better that we show the courage of our convictions and do that, or just pull out and get another deal done?
A lot of it depends. I don't know what the budget is, and we need a centre half more than we need a midfielder. So I wouldn't want to be taking out, Robin Peter to pay Paul, Rafa used to have to do.
Yeah.
But I think if Liverpool can, obviously they get this Robertson deal done, and there's X amount of money left for a defender and for Keita, you go as high as you can go, I think, for Keita without taking off that pot. So if say there's 170 million quid left, and you think it's going to cost 70 to get Van Dijk, I wouldn't be completely against them putting a world record in. I wouldn't. A, it shows that we've got bollocks, and that we're Liverpool. We're a fucking big club. We're not going to be fannied about. And B, I think he's that good. But there is a number that you don't go to. My issue is how good your second choice, and then where do you go from there, and then what you do. You end up, I don't know.
I'm really convinced that there's no one else out there like that. So much so that we're prepared to already invest in excessive to effectively double our record transfer fee, club record, and because we don't feel there's anyone out there who there must be, but apparently there isn't. Then it would make sense that we would go to whatever lengths it takes to get that player, because what's the point in waiting a year? Because let's face it, he could have an absolute worldie of a season, and albeit £48 million release clause next season, it's fucking useless if Real Madrid decide they want him.
Or if RB give him a new contract, say, listen, you're staying anyway, take $100,000 a week off us, and by the way, we're going to push that clause to 80, because they can do that, can't they? Quite easy. It wouldn't be a huge surprise. So,
absolutely.
Again, this is quite fluid, this one, so this will change quite a lot.
Do you think there's any? We were having quite an interesting discussion off camera before about like the structure of it and that. Do you think? In some senses, obviously, like Paul says, it doesn't really matter to Red Bull in terms of money. But do you think that there might be, the higher that fee goes, there might be some issues over like the pay structure? Because obviously, if it's 100 million, we're not going to go, here's 100 million, because that'll just ruin the budget for everything else. You're going to go, we'll give you 20 a year.
Yeah, structure and payment structures always. A lot of times deals do depend on that, because no one's got actual £50 million in the bank. They know it's coming from the TV money, but they might not actually have it right now, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when you pay, X amount of money will be in my bank on payday, but right this second it's not. So there is those type of things. But again, it's too fluid. And
it's just that thing. It doesn't ultimately. It won't matter. A year from now, the decision will have been made. We'll have had the season we've had, and we'll be able to look back and either recrimination or look back and go, wow, bullet dodged, etc., etc., depending on how it goes. But. And I shouldn't be, again, it's one of those situations, maybe it's because you get bogged down with the potential for negative reaction to stuff. It is just that thing. I just think there's a real big benefit to Liverpool showing up a big set of fucking financial bollocks.
Yes, I agree.
By just getting that, by identifying a big target and going and getting them at whatever the cost. And yet, maybe it does open you up to, everyone now knows you're the kind of club that does that. But when people know you're the kind of club that does that, I think it also... that's how you make yourself a big club again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go, Liverpool are the club, we get the players we want, so be afraid. If we start knocking for your fucking club, for your players, you should start shitting yourselves. Maybe you shit yourself all the way to the bank. But nevertheless, we start saying that we're the club that gets the business done that we want to get
absolutely, because at the minute we for whatever reason, and it's happened too often, you get a bit embarrassed at times, don't you? And the issue is, like you say, if there's a plan B, and if he's as good as Naby Keita, for example, we're going to speak Chelsea in a bit. Didn't get Lukaku, get a Morata. You think, well, you know what, fair enough. if Liverpool do something like that, then maybe everyone's appeasing. But again, if you don't, you just look a bit. It just looks crap. It feels crap.
Yeah, if we spend all summer and we fuck the Van Dijk thing up because of whatever reasons that gets fucked up for, and then we spend all summer pursuing a player that was never going to be for sale.
It's horrendous.
And then we either end up with nothing or we end up with second choices, and we could have just had them in a month earlier for half the amount of money. That's bad. You know what I mean? No matter which way you slice it. And there's the thing. Those lads can go on and have an amazing season. We saw that with Wijnaldum over Keita, as an example, let's say, for the last summer. So it exists in the possibility, of course, that everything could be absolutely fine. But there is, I think, if Liverpool, if you, as I say, I'm repeating myself, but if you're gonna try and be big boys, if you're gonna shop in the fucking top bracket, this is how the game's played. If you're gonna shop in the top bracket, it costs money to get good players off decent teams.
Yeah.